welcome to Cro2000 Radio on another Monday night here in Burwood, good old studios.
Indeed it is.
Never disappoints.
It surely doesn't. And that is the first song, great classic track, good pick, Jason, to kick us off.
There'll be a bit of a hint. We have some breaking news of yet another Croatian artist that'll be coming to Australia. We'll tell you later on in the show, although, once again, that was a big hint, that opening track.
That opening track might have just given it away, but
maybe.
We're going to have all the details there. And dobro večer svima koji ste evo sad slušaju 98.5 FM, Cro2000 Radio. It's great to be with you here on that Monday evening. We've got Angela, Jason's given you the intro, and myself, Yakov, here, keeping you entertained over the course of the next 60 minutes. Imamo glazbe, imamo vijesti, imamo događanja i sporta. So we've got plenty of stuff to keep you guys entertained for the next hour.
Imagine what you can learn with us.
Imagine what you can learn with us.
In terms of Croatian and English, but we're taking you all the way to Croatian, back with all our news, updates, announcements and sports.
Exactly. So please sit back, relax and enjoy yourself for the next hour.
Has been a massive week for sports as well. We've got some Davis Cup, a very big turnaround.
Massive comeback.
That was huge.
We won't steal your thunder, but
it was very, it was very good to watch.
Very good to see, and a few big sports results as well, which we will be updating you later on in the show. Not only that, we've got a few news announcements in the sense of Cro2000 and a few developments that are happening from our end of the sphere. Over the next few weeks, we will be starting a new feature on our weekly Monday night show. We're going to be broadcasting live from the new studio at King Tom. We've already started broadcasting, but we'll be actually utilising the Facebook Live feature and trying to make it a bit more interactive. And we will be joined next week by a special guest. So make sure to tune in for that one, either on your Facebook or via the radio.
That's right. So stay tuned in for more. But we've also had a special guest come to the country. Our parish priest, Fra Smiljan Berišić, he did a surprise visit from Croatia. He only recently left, but I guess he misses us.
Indeed, he did.
Or he misses the Solomon Islands.
I don't know what he misses, but he decided to make a comeback to Sydney and to his parish here at St. Nikola Tavlić and in the Croatian community, Sydney more broadly. So if you would like to say hello to Fra Smiljan, I think he'll be attending the youth group.
That's right.
Tomorrow night.
At St. John's Park.
At St. John's Park. So if you're young at heart or young at heart, either one, come down, and it should be an eventful evening from 8 p.m. onwards, but we'll have a bit more details on that malo kasnije u programu. All right, I think that is a little bit of an opening summary. Jason's got another track for us.
We've got a big show for you. You're listening to Cro2000.
Čijaj ono livada, čijaj ono trava, čija li je divojka rumena i plava. Ivanova livada, Ivanova trava, Ivanova divojka rumena i plava. Odvela nam Ivana ta sudbina kleta, odvela sa Kupresa priko bijela svijeta. Ostala je samo jedna želja jaka, zapjevati pjesmu kupreškog junaka. Zapjevati pjesmu kupreškog junaka. Hej, moj Ivane, pobratime mio, jesi li skoro na Kupresu bio? Jer kupreško polje uzorano, jel na njemu žito posijano? Jel na njemu žito posijano? vratit će se Ivan s 1000 momaka, pjevat će se pjesme naših kuprešaka. Pokosit će Ivan livadu i travu, oženit će divojku rumenu i plavu. Oženit će divojku rumenu i plavu. Moj Ivane, pobratime mio, jesi li skoro na kupresu bio? Je li kupreško polje uzorano, jel na njemu žito posijano? Moj Ivane, pobratime mio, jesi li skoro na kupresu bio? Je li kupreško polje uzorano, jel na njemu žito posijano? Idemo, braćo! Moj Ivane, pobratime mio, jesi li skoro na kupresu bio? Je li kupreško polje uzorano, jel na njemu žito posijano? Jel na njemu žito posijano?
And welcome back to Cro2000 Radio. You were listening to Thompson with Moi Ivane,
One of our favourites, I
one
think.
of our favourites, definitely. And without further ado, we have our
favourite.
favourite section of the night.
Not quite Thompson,
Not quite Thompson, but we're getting there.
but he's all right. It's Jakob for
It goes all right most Mondays. And our first story tonight will obviously be just a quick wrap-up of, unfortunately, some of those floods that we witnessed earlier on in the week in Croatia, and the aftermath is obviously still ongoing in Croatia. So, as we know, Dalmatia and a whole large parts of Croatia were hit by it was actually categorized as a cyclone, Cyclone Grazia, with floods and wind causing heavy damage. So they came, multiple areas in northern and central Dalmatia were hit, obviously, by heavy rainfall and tempestuous wind on Sunday. After the recent drought, there was initially some positive thoughts about the potential rain coming in to assist some of the crops in the Croatian hinterland. However, as it happens, after a serious drought, an extreme quantity of rain can result in flash flooding, inflicting more damage to the area. And that's exactly what happened. The storm hit northern Dalmatia first and then headed south. The largest amount of water was recorded in Rogoznica, where 80 litres of rain were measured in one day, more than their monthly average. So you think of your monthly average rainfall in one day.
Wow.
The volunteer fire department in Rogoznica stated they had numerous interventions in the evening hours on Sunday, and in a span of multiple hours, they were called to multiple locations to help pump water from flooded establishments, basements, restaurants, bars, apartments, you name it. And obviously, as the storm went further down, places like Žirje, Drniš, Žaborić, Primošten, all the way down the coast, all the way it went through down to Omiš, Makarska, and was also felt on the island of Šolta, Brač and Hvar, also experiencing heavy storms as well. Massive damage was recorded all throughout the Croatian coast, and throughout the week the cleanup and rescue efforts have been ongoing. It actually even made news even in international spheres as well, with ABC News, that is the American broadcasting network.
Well, I guess they were experiencing their hurricanes of sorts, so...
Yeah, that's right. They had theirs there in Florida and previously in Texas as well. So I guess it was on the radar in America, but they even noted as well And of course, they reported on the massive downpour hitting Zadar as well, which we saw, and I think we even posted on Cro2000 as well.
That's it.
Meteorologists say that it's the worst single rainfall on this part of the Adriatic coast since 1986. Zadar authorities had urged residents not to drive on the flooded roads.
However, some local residents did pull out their floaties because it's still obviously sort of summer weather, or quite warm. And I've seen images and videos of people still floating on their
using their
luftage.
inflatable devices. That's right.
Yeah.
So people trying to obviously make what they can out of the difficult situation. But as we know, the cleanup begins, and it's a big community effort to, I suppose, band together, work together in order to get things up and going. In particular, because it's the Lieto coming up and tourist season coming up as well. Well, not Lieto. We've just had the end of the Lieto season as well. So you got the last few tourists that are still there and making their way home, or
that would have ruined their end of the holiday.
Would have ruined the end of their holiday. That's right. I almost said at the start of Lieto. I wasn't thinking that. I meant the end of Lieto.
We're getting to Lieto.
We're getting to Lieto here in Sydney.
But talking about tourists, you've got a story there.
Yeah,
it's what's going to happen next year.
Well, this is an interesting one where police officers from China are set to serve in Croatia in the following summer. So that is next year, 2018. And the story says that police officers from China will work in Croatia, helping specifically Chinese tourists after an agreement was signed, a bilateral agreement between the two nations on Monday. For the last 12 years, the police officers from 17 countries all across the world, they've taken part in a safe tourist season project. So if you've got, I'm sure the big countries that that come, Germans, Polish, Czechs, and they'll bring a contingent of their own police officers to kind of, I don't know, assist in the policing of their own tourists. I suppose
sounds more like a language barrier that they're trying to overcome.
I think the problem is if someone gets in trouble from their country, it's like a liaison. They can call someone up, or a Czech guy was arrested. No, seriously.
But they're not actually. They don't actually have the power. They're not Croatian.
No, they're not.
So they're just bodyguards, or
they're kind of there
in a way.
They're just there, keeping an eye out on their locals.
But do they know what they're doing as well? Is their English any good either?
I'm sure
17 more headaches.
I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing. And China is actually the first country outside of Europe to be involved, seeing an influx, obviously, of Chinese tourists. So according to the Bureau of Statistics, there was a 60% increase in tourists from China compared to last year. So they're actually expecting 200,000 visits from China.
Wow. Do you know what? I must say that
it does. 200,000 visits.
In the past few years, there has been more Chinese $2 shops in Croatia. Have you noticed them?
I have noticed some of them. I can't say at their rate of expansion, but I have noticed that they are there.
The Croatian Bureau of Statistics has been a bit. Has been on the ball.
They've got their China shop.
They've got the China shop. I saw a Chinese restaurant. There's one in Rijeka, one in Zagreb.
It's a bit of the taste of the Orient.
Yeah.
Two corner shop.
Yeah, the two corner shop. That's right.
But do you know what? Everything's pretty cheap in Croatia, so
anyway,
it's sort of
the market. Is there
really a
market? Yeah.
Možda ako je 2 kune, but not $2.
Yeah. And finally, just before our next track, Croatian passport applications are set to go online.
Great.
It's apparently part of the government's pledge to make it easier for people to access these kind of documents. And President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović mentioned it on her visit here to Sydney.
That's right.
It would be easier. And as part of that program, recently Croatia introduced electronic applications for driver's licenses, and soon passports will be added to that one as well. So if you're a Croatian citizen abroad and you have the right to a passport, like some of us here,
I like that idea.
It might make your job a little bit easier.
Just make the voting like that, and I think it will be great.
Well, T-Portal, the T-Portal,
Te portal.
Source. So you've got the proper
Yeah, you have to say
pronunciation.
te.
Sorry. Sources close to the government say it should be introduced by the end of the year, where they will actually also introduce
I'm
birth
waiting.
certificates.
Oh.
Online birth certificates.
Wow.
Now that's the one that you got to wait
That's
for.
the difficult
That's
one.
the hard one.
Yeah.
Online birth certificates for the diaspora can sometimes be tricky. So, well, not online birth certificates, but, just
yes.
birth certificates
In
as
general.
a concept.
Yeah.
So there we go. A few steps
Paving the way
making
in online
things-
citizenship.
making things a bit easier
I
for
like
the
it.
diaspora. Alrighty, Jason, time for another track.
You're listening to Cro2000 Radio.
Kao da sam čuo dobre
Burritos.
And welcome back to Cro2000. Not sure what that was, Ange, but that was
Reference to an earlier conversation.
reference to an earlier conversation off air. She didn't. My apologies. Perhaps she wasn't aware I was going to fade in the end of that Parni Valyak song, one of the newest ones, Opet Sesmium.
Good little track there. But
Great
speaking
track.
of food, our next story is food related.
Burritos.
Croatian Paški Sir
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
wins Best Cheese
Oh, yeah.
at Global Cheese Awards in Britain.
Now, I just want
This
to say,
sounds quite legit.
what's the William Hill odd? Yakov brings up the Bill Clinton loves his Paški Sir story, which you bring up
I was
every
just-
single time.
But it's true. He gets Paški Sir delivered to him to the White House, and Kulen from Slavonia,
Yeah.
Vinkovci in particular.
Well,
Paški
they're
Sir.
probably preparing a big shipment to the White House, but the results didn't quite go their way.
They
last year.
probably were.
They probably were. They're
they-
like, yes, big contract.
Big
The
contract.
White House contract. The Clintons are back.
The Clintons are back. Unfortunately, not for some Croatian producers, but there has been more success for Croatian cheese on the global stage. Paški
Let's
Sir.
talk about cheese.
Paški Sir has won the gold medal held in Britain for the Global Cheese Awards. Cheese producer Paška Sirana from the Croatian island of Pag and producer of the famous Sir won first place for the best hard sheep milk cheese in the world.
Tough. That's the group of death for that category every year.
The
It's a tough one.
hard sheep milk cheese that's up there.
It's up there.
And over 1,000 cheeses were judged last week, with the winners of the awards announced on the weekend, and it was held in Somerset in England.
Oh, yeah?
Great
So-
cricket team.
Jacob Rees-Moggs, constituency in Somerset.
Oh yes, that is true.
That is correct.
That is true.
Very
I wonder
good
if you.
people down there.
I wonder if you.
I wonder if he paid a
He
visit.
said he probably did. He
Yeah.
probably did while the nanny was at home
That's right.
looking after his 6 kids. The Global Cheese Awards are the longest running awards in Britain, celebrating all aspects of the cheese industry, from artisan micro dairies to your large scale commercial producers. Last year, Paška Sirana won the Super Gold Medal for the best hard sheep in Central and Eastern Europe, and has now gone some way towards defending its title. And I think we reported on that story as well when they won the last year's title. So looks like they've gone back to back.
That's right.
Following the cheese industry news.
There you go. In other news, and this is actually a story, I've got a little bit of personal interest in it because it involves my actual confirmation saint,
Mm-hmm.
Croatian saint.
Oh, hang on. Haven't we had this conversation? How many Sveti Yakovs there are?
No, it's not
not
Yefeti
Sveti
Yakov.
Yakov, no.
It's a Croatian saint.
Oh, okay.
My confirmation saint.
Oh, my apologies.
Then it'll be Yakov. I've got to pick another name. It's actually Sveti Leopold Bogdan Mandic. And he's one of, obviously, Croatia's saints. And his body is actually has arrived in Croatia for the second time. Now, the body of Sveti Leopold, he's a Croatian Capuchin friar, and he's one of the 2 patron saints of the Year of Mercy, arrived last week in Croatia. And it's actually just the second time that it's been on display for the public. The first time was in 2016, where 200,000, count them, 200,000 people.
Were they Chinese tourists?
No,
Similar numbers.
Similar numbers.
Someone at the Croatian Bureau of Statistics is just fudging these numbers.
it's a lot of numbers in any case. Where these people took the opportunity to see the body in the capital in Zagreb, and this time, however, the body will be on display on the Croatian coast. First, it will go down to Zadar, where the saint actually spent some time serving during his life, and then it will go down to Dubrovnik before going to Split, and finally Rijeka on the 19th of September, which is
Wow.
tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow.
That's right. No, I
Or
think it was
today.
It was today.
It would have been
Okay.
today.
Well,
To
it's still happening then,
happening
as we speak.
as we
Saw,
speak, probably.
8 o'clock just before I left. They would have 8 o'clock. They would have midday in Croatia. The Croatian news, the first of the day. President Grava Kitarovic was actually there.
Oh,
She
okay.
visited and
Yeah,
so
because that's her hometown, actually.
That's right,
Rijeka.
yeah.
It all makes sense.
that was hours ago. I saw it just before I got here.
Heard it here first. And
Well, I heard it from.
you heard
I
it
don't know
first,
what,
but
you know.
the
Yeah,
punters
the-
probably
that's
heard
right,
it first.
that's right.
Sveti Leopold Mandić was born on the 12th of May 1866 and died 30th of July 1942, and he was a Croatian, as I said, Capuchin friar and Catholic priest. He suffered from disabilities that would plague his speech and stature, but what he lacked in those gifts he made up with tremendous spiritual strength in spite of his disabilities. And he spent almost all of his life in Padua from 1906 until his death. He spent 1 year in an Italian prison in World War I, since he would not renounce his Croatian nationality. And he also obviously held love for his Croatian homeland as well. So there we go. I thought it was a nice little story there. And keep your eye out for that one. In other news, a new private airport is set to be built in Dalmatia. It looks like construction of a new private airport in Dalmatia might finally go ahead after nearly a decade of trying to get it off the ground. The Croatian Ministry of State Property plans to issue a tender for the Stankovci airport project in the next few months. The plan is to build a €400 million private airport and small village on government land in Stankovci, which is situated near Zadar. And it's been in the pipeline for almost 10 years. And according to the Jutarnji List, the ministry has confirmed they will now move to realise the tourism project, and if it all goes to plan, will strengthen Dalmatia's tourist offering, and it will actually also be a bit of a, how do I say, an attraction for some of those rich private jet people.
That's what I was thinking when you said private airport. I thought it was going to be mostly a bit of a landing pad.
High end. It's not for your normal Ryanair punters.
Talking about Ryanair, they've increased their flights to Croatia. I think 2 or 3 more flights. So there'll be a lot of tourists coming.
That's because every second Croatian's in Ireland these days.
That's true, actually.
That's literally the reason.
And Ultra Festival.
Well,
Ultra Music Festival. What is it?
Well, that's past.
Yeah.
But, points taken. And that about wraps up the news today. It's time for another track, and we'll be back with a whole lot more right after this.
On Cro2000 Radio.
Sada imamo plan, zajedno na pravoj strani, samo ti i ja. Zajedno ostvarujemo san. Ti imaš cilj,
And welcome back to Cro2000 Radio. That was Bernarda Bruno with TER. Just recently signed with Croatia Records, young Croatian talent.
That's it from Switzerland and a friend of mine.
She's
So,
got a great voice.
a great voice, and I'm really proud. It's a really catchy song as well.
Great song. Hopefully we hear more things from her. And there's a last story you've got for us, Angela, as well.
That's right. You may have seen news stories about billboards of Melania Trump in Croatia promoting a English language school in Croatia, of course. And on the billboard it says, how far can you get with a little bit of foreign language, or a little bit of English actually. And this was advertised by a private language school in Zagreb, trying to persuade people to learn English by reminding them of the US First Lady's personal experience. So it was quite actually...
I wonder if they got permission from Melania to
I
use her
know.
image.
Probably not.
It's pretty like it's a famous image. I'm sure you can't just go using her face on pictures.
Well, there may be some copyright issues there. But
We don't endorse this, by the way. We're just pointing them out.
it may be an image that's also released in the public domain. So
Oh, wow. I got outlawed. Got done.
Done.
well, I work in education, so I have to know about copyright. Well, there was 5 billboards in total that emerged on Friday, showing the First Lady standing before a fluttering American flag and delivering a speech. Freedom. Presumably during President Donald Trump's election campaign. And the spokespeople for the American Institute in Zagreb didn't mean anything negative with this billboard. They just wanted to show how really, like, with her background coming from Slovenia all the way to delivering speeches nationally in America, she's gotten really far. So they didn't really intend it as a mock or anything like that. Just as a great
Well, they
example,
better not
yeah.
have, because they don't want the most powerful man in the world trying to shut them down.
That's right.
No.
I wouldn't want to have him
In
not
140 characters, that's all it takes him as well.
Yeah, basically, he could probably shut it down
That's
in
it.
one tweet.
So there you go. Be careful how you, I guess, advertise.
Be careful how you use Melania
Yeah.
Trump's image. Thanks for that one, Ange. And also that wraps it up for sport. Now it's time
Wraps it up for sport.
news. It doesn't wrap it up for sport. I think it's time to head off towards the sport with Jason.
All right, well, I guess I'm leading the sports for this week in Josip's absence. Big shoes to fill, but team effort. We'll all
get there.
get there here and there, but it has been a pretty massive, as always, week for Croatian sports. I think probably the main story was our triumph, our come from behind win in the Davis Cup against Colombia to secure a spot in the world group?
In the world group.
In the world group. So massive result.
Basically, to sum up there, Jason, if you've got the results there, which I think you do, Cilic took it home, but it was after a string of results earlier on in the week, wasn't it?
That's right, and he defeated Alejandro Gonzalez on a Friday in straight sets, although then Santiago Geraldo got the best of a Škugor, a valiant effort. He went down in 5 sets, but it was the doubles on Saturday that provided was kind of the turning point for the fixture. Mektic playing alongside Cilic, they won in 5 sets. One stage they were actually they were down.
They were down
2
sets to love.
They were down 2 sets to love, and it was a huge comeback for them to take the doubles tie. And then on Sunday, Cilic won in straight sets over Giraldo quite easily to seal that all-important spot in the world group.
And that's exactly right. It follows Croatia's disappointing exit from the world group at the start of the year. And basically, if they don't win this match, they go back to the Europe-Africa Zone 1. So they get demoted, and it takes at least a couple of years to go back to the world group. So this is like the intercontinental playoff series. That's where the winner goes back into the top 16 nations in the world for Davis Cup. And not only that, but it was played in Bogota, in Colombia. They had the choice of surface. So in Davis Cup, you get to obviously the home team gets to pick actually everything. What surface is going to be played on, the venue, location. So we had it. We had all the cards stacked against us, the deck stacked against us, and we came through.
That's right. And also in a kind of bit of good news for Croatian tennis, the latest WTA women's rankings were revealed, and 5 Croatians are now in the top 100. Lucic Baroni, of course, is currently the highest ranked in 33rd place, which is one spot down from last week. But Anja Konjo has progressed one place, is now 39th. Donna Vekic has gone from 47 to 46. Petra Maric is up to 89th. And it's actually Jana Fret, who was in the last week's semi-final in Tokyo. She snuck in at number 99, her highest ever career ranking. So that just made all the difference.
That was a very, very impressive result there at the WTA tournament. So good to see that Croatian women's tennis is on the way up.
That's enough for tennis. And speaking of rankings, I'm about to bring the mood down because FIFA has released their latest rankings again. And once again, Croatia has fallen.
Fallen again.
That's right. So things aren't looking too good for Croatia. Our loss to Turkey
didn't help.
Didn't help at all. Croatia now currently stands as the 18th best football nation in the world, according to the FIFA rankings. So we were in 16th place in August in the last rankings, and in July we were actually at 15th. So
a little bit of a slide.
We've fallen 3 places in the last 2 rankings, so it's not the results we're looking for. And unfortunately, to make things...
There's been another blow for Croatia, hasn't there?
There has been a big blow ahead of these World Cup qualifiers coming up in October, as Čačić might have some thinking to do, because unfortunately it looks like Kovacic and Subasic may be unavailable.
Yeah, because I was just about to say, we're in a difficult position here where, as we said earlier, and I think we gave a bit of a wrap-up last week, Croatia is equal first on 16 points with Iceland, I believe, or with Ukraine.
That's right.
And then Turkey and Iceland are on 14 points. So my apologies. Croatia and Ukraine are on 16 points. Iceland and Turkey on 14 points. It's basically all there to play for, and it looks like we've got some injury troubles that might be causing some problems for us.
Well, yes, in earlier this week in Real Madrid's match against Apoel, Kovacic, who were actually given a starting position by Zidane, he's getting up there now.
Yeah, he's basically starting.
I remember there was talk a few years ago that he might be sold on or loaned out, but he's really earned his spot. Good on him. Unfortunately, though, in the 20th minute, he partially teared an adductor muscle in his right leg, and he left the pitch actually quite a lot of pain. And the medics have since confirmed after tests were conducted that he'll be out for 2 months.
Ouch.
And furthermore, Subasic also left many wondering what was going on when he wasn't seen earlier in the week in Monaco's Champions League fixture against Leipzig. And of course, it was funny enough, they say 1 hour after Madrid announced the extent of Kovacic's injury, which resulted in him missing the rest of our qualifications. Harness reported that Subasic was also given some bad news. He will be questionable, so they're not quite sure. He's still a chance to play against Finland and Ukraine due to a ankle ligament injury. He'll be sidelined for 2 to 3 weeks, in the opinion of the head of Croatian Medical Service, Professor Boris Nemec. Subasic will most likely not be able to compete in the upcoming matches against Finland and
speaking
Ukraine.
Of European football, Rijeka kicked off their Europa League campaign last week.
That's right.
Well,
that's right. Fortunately, it wasn't the best of results. It was a 2-1 loss to AEK Athens.
At home.
So, yeah.
In a tough group with AEK, Rijeka, Milan, and...
another team. There is another team. It is considered, I don't know if it's the official group of death, but it's one of those groups of death. So unfortunately, wasn't the best start for their Europa League campaign. Although, speaking of domestic Croatian football. A bit of a recap of round 9 of the HNL. Rijeka did in fact win in their match over the weekend against Hajduk. It was 2-0 at the Poljud, so that was a big result for them, a bit of a bounce back. Rudeš got up 1-0 at home over Istra. Inter Zaprešić lost at home to Dinamo 3-1. Slaven Belopor drew 1-1 with Osijek, and Cibalia unfortunately went down 1-0 to Lokomotiva Zagreb.
And just what we've had a quick look at the table. I believe I said that it was Ukraine that's tied on 16 points with Croatia. I was actually correct the first time. It actually was Iceland that is tied with Croatia on 16 points. Turkey and Ukraine are on 14 points. So we've just had a bit of a quick revision there. We don't want to misinform our listeners of that. So Croatia and Iceland on 16 points heading into the final 2 group clashes.
There you go. And speaking of that earlier Rijeka's match, our relationship with UEFA hasn't been the best at times, and yet again we've had a bit of an issue. UEFA has dismissed Rijeka's appeal on their decision earlier the week to punish the club for discriminatory behaviour and the use of pyrotechnics.
Yep.
As we mentioned, that was during their Champions League playoff against Olympiacos last month in Rijeka. So UEFA's earlier decision to fining Rijeka 21,000 euros, and the northern stand of their stadium will remain closed for the upcoming against their match against AEK. So that fine will stand. So unfortunately,
our traditions with UEFA don't. They don't get any better.
No, they don't.
They don't. We just
we can't. Is it just like one guy that's just on standby to deal with these? He's like an expert in pyrotechnics,
and he's like the Croatian delegate, and he gets he gets a commission basis.
Pretty much, he's the guy.
He's the guy.
We also have news that's the basketball. Of course, we had our disappointing results in the Eurobasket tournament, which just finished. Slovenia took out the title with a win over Serbia.
Yeah, big win.
So that was a big win, bit of an upset.
And I mean, look, it talks about the tradition that basketball has in that part of the world, with talented teams coming from Slovenia and Croatia as well as Serbia. But at the end of the day, Slovenia took the title, and deservingly so, with an amazing, I suppose, a very well-deserved win over the Serbs.
Oh, that's right. But the thing we're going to dwell on is the fact that we have had a lot of thinking to do, and of course, Alexander Petrovic, who led the team, unfortunately will no longer be coaching the team, and the Croatian Basketball Association has decided that Ivica Škelen would be appointed as the new head coach of the Croatian men's basketball team, as reported on Saturday. So
Alexander obviously being Dražen's brother.
That's right.
Dražen Petrovic's brother.
That's right. And he's obviously has he's got a great knowledge of the game, and it was said that the association appointed him first as an assistant, and this was a reward for a lot of his work. And we had to respond quickly. We had to move in a new direction, and the reason this decision was made is the fact that Škelen was part of the national team. He was an assistant, and he's acquainted with the situation. We believe that he'll be the best man to adapt to this difficult situation.
All right, and I think we've got
there you go.
One more story before the
we had
track, or is that...
We had just, we know how much we love our sailing, and particularly our laser class.
Didn't we do very well in the Olympics?
That's what I'll say. We always do very well. So it's one of those you can bank on a podium. You can bank on a medal. And earlier in the week on Wednesday, the Laser Class World Championship was officially opened on the river. So the event is attended by 148 sailors from 52 countries, the most significant sporting event to be held in Split this year. So there you go. Getting ready for some, hopefully some more success in the laser class.
And in all the other sailing classes as well. Thanks again for that wrap-up, Jason. and we'll be back with more information after this. We've got another track for you. You're listening to Cro2000 Radio.
Dobri ljudi, nemojte ništa pitati. Neka suze tiho teku, pa će manje boljeti. Ne dirajte mi večera, uspomenu meni. Ne dirajte mi ravnicu, jer ja ću se vratiti. Kako tužna govori, kad se jednom vratiš sine, ja ću te čekati. Ne dirajte mi večeras, uspomenu meni. Ne dirajte ravnicu, jer ja ću se vratiti. Mene zovu moja polja, mene zovu tambure. Prije nego sklopim oči, da još jednom vidim sve. Ne dirajte mi večeras, uspomenu meni. Ne dirajte mi ravnicu, jer ja ću se vratiti. Ne dirajte mi večeras, uspomenu meni. Ne dirajte mi ravnicu, jer ja ću se vratiti.
And welcome back to Cro2000. That was a very young Miroslav Škoro. Love watching the video for that.
Or younger.
Younger, yeah. It's just he's got some, not as much grey in the hair, if any, but
just as much emotion.
Just as much emotion. That's right. It's always a favourite here of ours on Cro2000. And speaking of favourites, another one has just entered the studio.
Yes, that's correct.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. My apologies. I'm a bit late tonight.
Big shout out to Joe. We've got one more segment to go through today, and that is the announcement section with Angela.
Thank you.
I forgot we don't have an intro for that section yet. Didn't we say we were going to do one?
I think it's missing. It's really
but
missing.
How's this? What's it going to be?
I even paused to give you the couple seconds so that you can get it ready.
I thought you were just struggling to swallow saliva.
No, I was waiting to look.
I don't know what was going on.
And then I realised actually there's no song that comes in for the announcement section.
No, we've got to work on that.
How about if our listeners have a suggestion? Please drop us a line in our inbox and we'd be happy to hear it.
In any case, there you go. That's your intro.
Drum roll.
Well, we have a big event actually coming up at the end of this month, on the 28th of September to the 1st of October, long weekend. We have the Canberra 2017 Australian and New Zealand Croatian soccer tournament. This is the 43rd one in up to date. We have 48 teams playing from over 22 clubs and up to 900 players and more than 90 matches. So it's
going to be massive.
A huge event.
And can I just state that Cro2000 will be there throughout the course of the tournament, and word on the grapevine is that we will be
Covering
up close and personal, covering as much of the tournament and for example, like the gala night and some of the festivities there as possible. So make sure to watch out for the Cro2000 team when you're down there. Make sure to swing by, say hello, and we'll have more information on our social media channels about how you can get involved and win some prizes as well.
And even if you're not there, you can always follow us because we're going to be live a lot through using Facebook. So it's almost like you're there.
We're going to be there. Sorry, Jason, with a few snazzy bits of technology. You won't be able to miss us. We're actually even going to look semi-professional, I think.
No, what do you mean? We're always professional.
No, but it looks like
semi is as low as we go.
It's the whole 9 yards, mate.
That's right, on tour.
Lads on tour.
Canberra correspondent Jakov Milja.
Well, for more information on the whole tournament and all the events that are happening there, please visit www.cstcanberra17.com. They even have a countdown, so there's only 9 days, 19 hours, 3 minutes and 57 seconds left until the event.
Just in case you were wondering.
Just in case. The whole weekend is filled with various disco parties.
Various disco parties.
Oh, there will be more than one. Then there's obviously the Miss Croatia, Australia and New Zealand. Tickets have been sold out, which is on the Saturday, and there's always an after party.
Apparently there's going to be like massive
it's
amount.
like 1,000 people.
900 people, or
That's
maybe
right.
even more.
It's about what last year's, I think, was, or the year before.
They usually sell like hotcakes, so
And
I think that was, to be honest, our only way of getting in.
yeah,
It's
through the media pass.
through the media thing.
We were a bit late on the tickets. And of course on Sunday it's the finals plus the I think there's a unofficial disco then as well.
There's even on Sunday night. There's always an
Unofficial.
Well, I don't even know if it's unofficial. It's sanctioned. It would be sanctioned.
It's sanctioned
disco
by the Australian Croatian
Part of
disco
the
governing
festivities.
bodies.
Forms part of the festivities.
And that's it. And then locally we have, of course, King Tom Club Wednesday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. They have a 300-gram rum steak at $14 with chips and salad. And for that amount, you also get a midi of beer, glass of house wine or a soft drink. Please visit Lutsemala because that's where the food is at King Tom Club. Bookings are preferred, so please call 96109811 for your reservations. At our other club, Croatian Club Punch Bowl, we have Fisherman's Night on the 29th of September with a seafood smorgasbord including prawns, oysters, mussels and much more. So we've got the hot buffet, salad bar, dessert bar, $45 per person with live music. Bookings are essential for this event as well, so please call the club on 9708 4699. We also have an announcement of Roman Leljak, who is coming to Australia. He's a Slovenac. He's a publisher and researcher of the UDBA archives, and he will be coming to Sydney and Melbourne. So he will be then doing talks on the workings of UDBA in Australia and how they did. Kako su djelovali. So.
Yeah, and apparently there will be a film that will be shown as well as the tribuna. So it'll be a 45-minute film.
That's right.
45-minute speech, and it's not just the fact that it's like coming from a Croatian or a biased source. It's coming from a researcher who's gone and he's done the research, and there's some harrowing. There's no other way to put it. Harrowing stuff out there that's of importance to people who have had family members there and who don't know what happened, and just for the sake of Croatian history.
Exactly.
If nothing else.
So the documentary film is called Maribor najveće stratište Hrvata. The events are going to be in Sydney at King Tom Club on Friday the 22nd of September at 7 p.m. and at Punch Bowl on the Saturday the 23rd of September at 7 p.m. In Melbourne there will also be a showcasing on the 24th of September after the Missa at AHD Melbourne in Footscray.
Correct. So get out there and take a look at that one either on Friday at King Tom or Saturday at Punch Bowl.
That's correct. Later on this year in October, we've got the Croatian Children's Folkloric Festival, their 10th anniversary. So that's on Saturday, the 28th of October. It's a day festival from 3 p.m. Until late. We've got fireworks there.
Hey, it's not just a day; it goes all the way.
I said till late at night.
Till
There's
late.
fireworks.
Okay.
Yeah.